Now, we just had a webinar with one of the kids that's here. He's back for the second time, and he shared his story. And I'll get some YouTube questions. Why don't you share this on YouTube? And I don't share it on YouTube because you fuckers will call him and hound him. And if he slips and says the name of the company, you'll call the company and you'll fuck it all up for him. That's why I don't share it with YouTube. You know, and it's selfish. And I want to help the kids. I don't mind the 99.9% of the kids benefiting from QLA that I never met, but I have a higher degree of loyalty to the fucking kids that are here than I do to the YouTube shitbags. And even YouTube shitbags ought to be able to understand that. Bless you. And if you don't understand it, I don't give a fuck. That's the way it is. But he shared his story, and he came in February, and he's back again. And he's got his board, his chairman. He talked about losing a couple of board members. They had isolated a preliminary transaction. It didn't happen. And now he's still in the hunt. The takeaway is not that I need validation, that all the steps work, and now it's a matter of finding low-hanging fruit to consolidate in this fragmented industry. And his industry isn't as mature as many of the other industries because the industry hasn't been around that long. It's been around, but I mean not that long. Fortunately for him, because of the things that are happening in the Middle East and now with President Trump's new emphasis on security, his industry is more in the limelight now, which should help on the financing, but it won't help because now everybody's going to want more money for their companies' outrageously unrealistic valuations. And that's part of the process. You know, nothing's static. You may start acquiring, consolidating industry A, and then something happens over a year or two, and it either falls out of favor or gets more publicity. The multiples will change, and now you can't finance them. So then you make a decision: are we going to continue down this road, or are we going to pivot and morph onto another avenue? And those are decisions that you will make in conjunction during the year that I'm mentoring you. I will assist you in making those decisions, and I will not always agree with your boards, and then you got to make a decision, you know, and that's fine with me. If you don't agree with me, there's a high probability it'll fail, but you know, I'm only right 95% of the time. And everybody, YouTube, my whole life, they always hope and pray that they're the 5%. Because you can't turn loose because of your emotional bank account. Sally would tell you if she was here, Dan's really right 99% of the time. But nobody believes 99, so I say 95. The truth of the matter is, I'm rarely, if ever, wrong. So it's closer to 100% of the time. But hope springs eternal. And you know, it's like, I keep thinking of baseball analogies because of you. You're an athlete and the triple guy, Bolt, and you're a 10-second sprinter, and he's a 9-something sprinter, right? Well, maybe this once, I'll get to the finish line before him. Now, it's pretty remote that's going to happen, right? Pretty fucking remote. Well, it's pretty remote, I'm going to be wrong. But that's why you come here, to have the benefit of all the many, many decades of experience I have and the thousands of transactions that I've looked at. What is the takeaway from you guys, reference vis-a-vis what Dennis went through?
Be succinct.
Okay.
Be focused.
Focus, that's correct. Both things I've been talking about.
Emotional bank account is number one.
It's number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Emotional bank account. You can get through this with a 80 IQ and a high emotional bank account, no problem. Now, I know everybody thinks they got higher than 80 IQ, but let's just, let's just say that it's not required. High IQ is not required to implement QLA. High emotional bank account is required. Because you're going to have dips, you're going to have speed bumps, you're going to have, and some of the dips and valleys in the process will look like the fucking Grand Canyon to you. As you go through them and you toughen up and you build up scar tissue, it'll become easier. It's like the slide I had, I'm pregnant now, and you say congratulations, but how many times did I get fucked? And to make this happen, and some of you in the room will, as in the other previous rooms, you'll be surprised how wrong you can be choosing or picking somebody that you think is going to be more successful than yourself. You will notice on the first Zoom call, you'll be able to look it up at that screen, and you'll be able to just tell whose doofus smile, the look. When you look at the Zoom call and their heads are like this, that's the universal. It's not good. And when half the heads are like this, it's not good. I've also had calls when everybody's happy, because they've had success. And nothing begets success like success. And the reason for the Zoom calls is for you to hear other challenges the other kids have and how they overcame them, etc., etc. And that the universal comment on the calls, Mr. Peña was right about this. Yes, Adam. Mr. Peña was right about this. I underestimated this, and Mr. Peña was right about this. And it wasn't hard, Mr. Peña was right about this. Just imagine if you didn't have to go through those Mr. Peña was right, which means you took time out to learn something the hard way. But it's like raising kids. Johnny, if you step in, you put your hand in that plug, you're going to get electrocuted. Johnny, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Except I'm not as patient as your parents were. In fact, I'm the antithesis of that. And the reason why you're fucked up is because your parents were too patient. Any other takeaways about Dennis's talk?
Yeah, unless in relation to the first video.
You mean that Marine video?
Yeah.
Okay.
Most people have led a bubble wrap life, and the threshold for stress is way too low compared to what it needs to be in that relationship.
Okay. Yes, that's all true.
Thank you. That's why I showed him.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't just go for it. Attack that shit.
Exactly. And we've showed you Schwarzenegger and a bunch of people that just go up and kick the opportunity in the teeth. And see, those are nice cliches, but nobody's teaching that. And I believe that martial arts is a sorry excuse for that, because but if you're going to engage in that kind of thing, as I've already told you, boxing is better. But you have to refine and develop your communication skills. And I've told you about Toastmasters and the various methodologies that will allow you to be able to converse better. The best communicators get this done the quickest. Dennis's communication skills have increased pretty dramatically since February, and I think it's pretty obvious in his presentation to you guys a few minutes ago. Anything else about Dennis? Okay, YouTube. Thank you.